Hi, we're back, I think.
Hey, we're back with audio this time.
Excellent. Yay. I'm sorry, that was really stupid. Does everything sound okay? Oh, for fuck's sake. Am I quiet, like, according to everybody? Or is Kiri just having a hard time hearing me? Oh, it did turn down my mic a little. That's stupid.
Oh, that is very weird.
Fuck that. I fixed it, I think.
Hooray!
Can you hear me now? If not, I'm going to twist the gain knob a notch or 10. How's that? Are we better?
Are we good?
Our beloved Wishmaker audience people. Oh my God, Kitty.
This is my kitty.
Okay. Now that we've tweaked all the audio things, which apparently just need tweaking and whatever every single time.
You them enough, and then they get fixed. I have nowhere to live. Right.
Listen.
You get to live on the back shelf again.
Oh, Kitty. And apparently this stream not actually brought to you, but sort of unofficially brought to you by Yeti.
Yeah, we're
Blue microphone.
We're ready to talk.
They're great.
We're ready to talk.
Okay. Oh, sorry. We didn't change the title of the stream. If one of my beloved other Wishmakers who's not in this session would love to do that, I would be very grateful. This is the most awkward session. I'm sorry, guys.
As we were saying before technical issues, we're both real loopy right now. We've had long days.
We are very professional streamers.
Oh yeah,
not really. Okay.
We're
anyway,
professionals, just not at this.
Yeah, we're professionals at something.
Okay, that's what we tell ourselves.
Somebody pays me to do stuff, so that's neat. So why don't we go ahead and make our way to this little Wishmakers aside?
Yeah.
If you're watching this and you haven't joined us before, you should probably just not watch right now. Go to YouTube, watch our other episodes. This is a weird little interlude episode that will make no sense if you haven't at least watched the previous one.
Pretty much. Basically, I was like crazy super sick last session. And so I missed it. So we're basically just catching up. So we don't have to spend like half of the session tomorrow doing my shit.
Yep. So Sah'Shad is going to go spend some time in Newfolk and run some errands and things. And gosh, the music is very quiet.
It is. I forgot about it.
Oh, it's sound effects. That's why. I shall fix it.
Yay.
There we go. All right. So, Sah'Shad, moderately comforted by Cora's affirmation on the way to Newfolk that you had nothing to fear about being found out as Wishmakers, you parted ways with the others on your arrival, opting to forego the festival, at least momentarily, for a little research and some errands instead before intending to catch up with Cora. After some asking around, you found your way to a small bookshop situated on the corner of a quaint and quiet street in the town. Though the street's shops seemed mostly closed due to the festival, you find your destination has light visible through the windows. A wooden sign hangs over the archway, cut in the shape of an open book, with fine letters painted in bright yellow to read page turners. A bell chimes as you push the door open and make your way into the bookshop. The pleasant scent of aged paper and binding immediately fills your nostrils. It's warm in here, calming in the lamplight, and the insulation of row upon row of books. At the back of the shop, you see a small robed and hooded figure, halfling size perhaps, on a ladder placing a few books on a taller shelf. Hearing the bell, the figure turns, revealing a crow's face and keen eyes staring down at you in vague surprise. The creature puts up a hand in a gesture of greeting and then slides down the ladder and trots over to you. This close, you can see the robe under the hood is, in fact, more of a dress with a patchwork of flower patterns stitched expertly together. The creature pulls a notebook from her sash and opens it to a page, holding it up and showing it off to you in beautifully lettered words in a collection of various styles, as if clipped from dozens of books. Greetings, I am Paige. Can I help you find anything? Paige looks up at you expectantly.
Well, good day to you.
She starts to flip through her notebook a little bit, but watches you, waiting for further words.
Yes, I suppose you can. I'm looking for books on the history of Rinthia.
She starts to walk over to some of the shelves off to the left and gestures for you to follow.
He follows behind, just
okay.
like intently curious about this little creature.
She stashes the book into kind of sideways into her sash so she could quickly pull it back out if need be. And she kind of starts, her little black fingers kind of scan the spines of the books. And she points to a row almost just out of her reach. She kind of goes up on tiptoe, and you notice she does in fact have crow's feet. And she kind of points up this way, and you see rows of aging tomes. There's a few that look a little bit newer and more like homemade binding done to them. But you do see a lot of these books look like they're well read, well established. And she kind of gestures and taps at a couple spines.
Well, thank you very much. May I peruse them?
She gives you a little nod, and then she just kind of points back to the ladder where she had been, and kind of makes a gesture as if to indicate, like, shout for me if you need me.
Will do. Thank you.
And she heads back up to the shelves to continue the work of stacking. So, as you look at this bookshelf...
I do. I sort of scanned to see what else is there.
Which you obviously have no problem reading or reaching because you are not tiny. Yes. You kind of scan the spines and you see books. There's a few that stand out as you go through. There's a book called Classical Magical Arts, a tactical comparison of glaives and javelins, slings, an expanded discussion of manufacturing, the Azure Apron Cookbook, Volume 2, which seems like it's misplaced.
I'm going to just sort of grab that one and tuck it, just to take a look at it, see if it's worth anything.
Okay. The Social Organization of Griffins.
I'm going to pull that one just to kind of flip through it.
Sure.
I'm just going to start how you do, you just build up a pile of books.
Sure. And there's plenty of spaces to do that. There's tables and nooks and things all over this book. It's very cozy, like little coffee shop, bookshop type of atmosphere. There's really nobody in here but you and Paige, because everybody's kind of out partying at the festival. No one's out here up for reading books at a time like this. So as far as the Social Organization of Griffins, it is definitely a very dry read by someone who is very enthusiastic about griffins.
Okay.
There's some sketches in there as well. They're very beautifully done sketches of someone who must have taken their lives into their own hands by trying to get close enough to these creatures to sketch them. But other than that, it's not the most exciting read.
It's very Encyclopedia Britannica kind
yes,
of. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. You could almost picture David Attenborough narrating it.
Just put that one back on the shelf.
Yep. Next to that, you also see a book labeled Pipe Foxes, Portable Pets from the Moontier Isles. And it's very brightly colored and has a very different style of decor and patterning on the cover. It's very exotic looking.
Okay.
And if you pull it out, you realize the book is actually bound backwards.
Just gonna grab that one, maybe keep it for someone.
Okay.
Someone small.
And then the last one you kind of see along this row is entitled A Comparison of the Respiratory System of the Etten and the Jabberwock.
Okay. I'm just going to flip through that one because I'm curious what that is, but...
It's very thick and it's a medical encyclopedia, essentially.
Okay.
Another very dry read by someone who is weirdly enthusiastic about these two completely separate subjects.
Okay, just gonna quietly put that one back on the shelf.
As you kind of peruse through these and you go down one more row, you see a couple of titles that start to stand out as more historical. Among them, you see something called First Arrival Origins and Traditions, which, having passed through the town as much as you did, you know by just kind of observation that the First Arrival Festival is what's happening around you right now.
Right. Okay, I'm definitely going to grab that one.
Okay. Did you want to kind of peruse that and read it?
I'll just sort of set it aside for just
Okay.
add it to the stack.
Okay.
For the moment and just keep looking around the shelf.
Sure. As you see, there's another one that has some really lovely gold binding on it, entitled Wishmakers, Ancestors or Allegory by Heller J. Grimm.
Okay, gonna grab that one.
Okay. And one of the last ones that kind of catches your eye is a very, very thick, not quite paperback, but very soft, thin, cheap, leather-bound volume titled West Rith Almanac, Shard 934.
West Rith. Okay. I'm just gonna flip through that one sort of quickly.
Okay.
Just kind of get a sense of what it is.
Sure. So this book appears to go on for pages about the cycle of the moon, detailing the best times to plant specific crops, hunt for certain types of game, as well as a page or two of horoscopes. At the very back, however, is a map drawing of the region of Westrith, which is apparently where Newfolk and the Edgewood are. The continent appears to be quite large. There are various places highlighted. Newfolk is among them. Far to the east is the coast of the Moontier Sea, wherein a chain of islands sharing the name are shown. Well to the north of Newfolk lies a mountainous region, and in the foothills of this area, there's a large beanstalk sketched alongside a tiny town labeled Keldrick's Folly. Further into those mountains is a sketch of a fortress labeled Eldspire. That's more or less the usefulness you get out of the book.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll grab those and sort of stack them on the table. Sort of wander back around the corner and see if I can find Paige.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of see her. She's still up there putting some books away, but she seems like she may have heard you. She glances back and kind of gives you a questioning look.
Yes, I was wondering, do you carry just maps at all? Just of Rinthia specifically?
And she basically slides down one-handed along the ladder and drops back down, and she kind of dashes around a couple of bookshelves to the far back corner. When she returns, she's kind of burdened by this like heavy magazine rack-esque structure with all these scrolls kind of shoved in it, and brings it out and sets it down.
Okay. Thank you. I will take a look. And I start sort of unfurling random ones and seeing what's there.
Yeah. And before she heads back, you can kind of notice that her gaze is sort of on the books that you've stacked aside, just like kind of curiously seeing what it is you've picked. But you notice she doesn't make any sound at all beyond movement. But she just goes back to continuing her work, occasionally glancing back to make sure you're still doing okay.
Cool.
As far as the maps go, you do see a map drawn out of the Westrith region.
Okay.
Which is pretty copacetic with the maps you've seen of Edgewood and the Newfolk area so far, between what you looked into at Heddes and whatnot. There are minor changes, probably just due to cartography evolving.
Right.
But for the most part, you see it's all pretty consistent with what you've observed already. There are smaller towns that are kind of indicated but not always named at various intervals in different places.
Okay. Basically, I'm just sort of looking for the most detailed portable version that I can find. Okay.
Most of these are not particularly portable. These are like table maps.
Okay.
So these are like poster size.
All right. Is there any of Newfolk specifically, like city maps?
Um, Not in the bookstore, although out in the square there are essentially like city directories, so to
Right.
speak.
Okay.
So there are maps posted here and there about the city to help you navigate your way around.
Sorry, chat.
Yes,
I should close that.
it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll just kind of leave that and go back. So yeah, I think I'm going to quickly peruse the cookbook and the Pipe Fox book.
Okay.
That one. Yeah, and then I'll just kind of grab the new arrivals one because I think that one's probably going to be pretty good anyway.
Okay.
I just want to see if the cookbook's worth anything.
Sure. As far as the cookbook goes, there are a lot of really interesting and unique recipes in there. Some of them appear to have ingredients you have never heard of. And the cultures contained within this book and the fusion of cultures contained within this book are pretty phenomenal, really. You have like elven and orcish recipes somehow mixed, and it actually sounds good.
Well, this is fascinating. I'm going to add that to the to buy pile. And then I'm going to quickly flip through the Pipe Fox book. Like, is it like lots of pictures and like pretty things?
Yes. These pictures are kind of very beautiful, like watercolory ink renderings of what almost looks to you like a ferret or a stoat or something, only really long and floating out of a pipe. It's a very odd looking creature. But there are drawings depicting like how to hold them or how to care for them. And just, it's literally like a how to own this pet book.
Cool. Well, I think I know a little girl who would like this one very much. I'll add it to the to buy pile. So I've got the Pipe Fox book, the new arrivals, the cookbook, and I'll grab the almanac as well.
Okay.
Hey,
did you grab the Wishmakers book or no?
Like the first arrival.
There's first arrival, and then there was the Wishmaker Ancestors or Allegory book.
I'll grab that one and just flip through it. Is it like a
okay?
I'm not quite sure what to make of that one.
Okay, so on opening that one, you kind of find a passage that catches your attention. This is by this Heller J. Grimm fellow, and it's very much like a kind of an essay type of affair, the way it's written. So, Wishmakers. Every Rinthian child grows up on tales of these heroes from faraway worlds. Some of us are even lucky enough to meet one in a lifetime. The irony of it is that we all, in one way or another, may in fact be descended from these larger-than-life visitors. Our oldest towns bear signs of being built with influences from beyond, strange pastiches of cultures that are as unlike one another as could be asked. And the book goes on in this fashion to posit theories about wishmakers and their various homeworlds, but rapidly starts to devolve into questionable babble about some wishmakers who carry entire libraries in a small glowing box in their pockets and talked about vehicles that moved without magic or beasts. It's really weird shit.
Is it madness or genius? We'll find out. I'll add that one to the maybe pile.
Okay. Are you at this point, you've got like a rejection pile, a maybe pile, and a gonna read pile?
Totally.
Okay.
This Sah'Shad is in full research mode right now.
Okay.
So I've got the 4 in the definitely flag down.
Okay.
Page
and this like bookshop does have places where you can kind of sit down and get cozy with the books and stuff as well. It's like like fantasy Barnes and Noble but smaller. And run by a Kenku.
Run by a Kenku, yeah. As all good bookshops should be, frankly.
Okay, so the First Arrival Origins and Traditions book, were you going to be perusing that one? You're kind of saving.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll flip through it. I think I'm probably going to buy it regardless. But
okay, that one does talk about essentially the the tradition of, or like the origin of that whole thing. It's essentially the same spiel that everybody got previously from Overseer Kendris, which we can recap here if you're interested to hear that again.
Sure. Remind me, because that was like 4 days ago. And
okay. And in fact, the author on this book is a Kendris Veluria. So this actually looks like a relatively new volume. It's freshly inked, it's clean, and it's even signed by the author because he lives here. You know. So in Rinthia, the annual turning of the year holiday is called the Festival of First Arrival. It takes place in the month of First Dawn, where the Lord of Winter is reigning king. According to Rinthian legend, this celebration commemorates the day the world itself came into being, woven into existence by the wishes of a now forgotten god, who built it as a resting place for his beloved fallen sister. The tale goes, the god hoped to one day revive her through the wishes and dreams of all those who came to Rinthia. Celebrants of the festival write down their hopes or wishes for the year to come on colorful pieces of paper cut in the shape of diamonds, which are then hung by red string to the center of a tree. Oh my God, my cat. I apologize. To a tree in the center of each village or city called the Hope Tree. They're then left to the elements, and any wish papers remaining on the tree by the end of the year are collected and enshrined in a coffin-shaped box of glass, crystal, or brass that sits in a small shrine at the base of each tree. It is believed that the forgotten god will come to collect these wishes one day and use them to awaken his lost sister. And as you're reading through that, you do remember actually passing by this tree on your way to find this little bookshop.
Right.
It was a very large tree that took up the whole central square of the town. And it was, it had all these colorful diamonds of paper dangling from it. It was very beautiful. The odd thing was, in fact, which now makes sense as you read this, was you did notice that glass coffin type of thing that was sitting at the base of it caught your attention as very odd.
Right.
But now you know why that is.
Oh, this shall definitely be handy. Yeah, I go track down Paige and
okay.
Yes, I think I would like to get well, these four definitely. How much would that run me?
She takes a look at each of the books, takes them from your pile and kind of opens the covers and checks them around. And then holds up
Uh, 31.
She kind of was like, no, that's too expensive. She counts 3 and then she holds up a book.
Oh, 3 each. Ah, yes. Oh, well, fantastic. Yes, I'll grab these ones, and I might as well grab the 5th one as well.
So she stacks up the books for you and heads over to the front counter area with the books in hand. And she disappears briefly underneath the counter and then comes back up, and there's a nice little sack tied around it, like a kerchief type of thing, tied into a bag. And she hands it up to you.
Then, and I hand over the gold.
She stashes it into her little coin purse that she keeps at her sash. And then she grabs the book and flips quickly to a page which says, "Can I help you with anything else?"
I don't think so. That is really all I needed at the moment. If I do think of anything else, I will surely be back.
She flips it again, and it just says, "Merry first arrival to you."
And to you as well. And I grab my books and head back out into the street.
Okay. So the fair is going on around you at this point. You know there's a lot of stuff going on outside of the gated part of the city, because there's that whole stone wall that encircles the core of the city, and then there's the city that grew beyond that.
Right.
where there was a lot of festivities also going on. So you can.
So actually, what sort of like style is the city? Like, are we talking like wood houses or like a lot of stone?
It's
Like
stone
2 stories, 5 stories.
yeah, stone and wood, usually 2 to 3 stories. It's very quaint, like Middle Europe, like Western European kind of. They're colorful. Think like German style
Right.
village
Okay, cool.
architecture.
Yeah, so I'm gonna sort of wander a little bit aimlessly, kind of
Okay.
just enjoying the atmosphere and being in a bustling city again.
Okay. Yeah, and it
Been
is
a while.
like it's pretty happening right now because of the festival, but it is a town, so it's not like a grand city per se, but it's a
Mhm.
pretty sizable town. There's a lot of people here. And there's a variety of races. There's a handful of tabaxi you occasionally see around. There's half orcs. There's just whatever. Primarily, you see a lot of humans and halflings and elves, half elves of differing kinds, but you've seen at least one of just about anything.
This is like home. Yeah, so I'm kind of sort of slowly make my way sort of towards where kind of the most activity seems to be happening.
Okay.
Carnival games and stuff like that.
Okay. So you make your way back out beyond the gates to the stalls and the street fair kind of atmosphere that was set up outside there. There are food stalls which all smell wonderful, and drink along with it. You can see rows upon rows of tankards of any number of alcoholic beverages set out for people to take. And there are tents. You see a tent where looks like an archery contest. There's different fair games where you can kind of like one of those things where you throw a little ball into like a tower of goblets and hope you don't knock them all down type of a thing. Cheesy fair stuff.
Mhm.
And there's also a tent where there appear to be quite a lot of animals.
Along my way, have I seen anyone selling like flowers or like a flower stall at all? Anything like that?
There's like flowers kind of as part of other festivities. I mean, there's a lot of different things, but no dedicated like flower shop per se.
Right.
There's flower sellers kind of walking around with baskets and things like that, but that's about it.
Okay.
There's not a lot of flowers to be had because winter is kind of on the rise.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna kind of glance over, see the stall with all the animals, and just kind of mark that for later.
Okay.
I'm gonna wander over to one of the booths that's like selling alcohol. Does it look like any of them are selling like bottles of wine specifically?
There are jugs that may or may not be wine. Nothing so fancy as a bottle of wine.
Right. Would that be something more like inner city? Would I have passed any on my way?
You might have a look at the many taverns.
Okay.
Most of the stalls that are out here are owned or have the names of the taverns that they're
right. Okay.
they're hawking for.
Yeah. On my way, sort of wandering the city, I would have been keeping an eye out for a tavern, something like that.
Okay. You found many of them. Among them, you did mentally note, you saw Cora's wagon or her cart rather, situated nearby. So pretty good guess that she's probably there. The one that you noticed was named the Green Dragon.
Right. Okay. I'm very specifically not going to go to the one that Cora's at.
Okay.
I'm going to find another one, a decent distance away.
Okay. You want to go to a tavern, do you?
I do.
All right. I need to get the town file up for this.
So making you do work.
It's fine. There's like 80 billion taverns. So going on past the Green Dragon, you do notice another one that has a very interesting, curious looking sign. The head of a ram, kind of aims down and as if it were angry, we'll say. And indeed, the name of this tavern is the Angry Ram.
Oh, well, sounds perfect. I kind of wander inside and
Okay.
get a sense of the place.
Okay. It's fairly busy and it's pretty happening. People are there, dining and enjoying one another's company. It's not very large. It's relatively small, but it seems to do good business. You only see 2 or 3 people that appear to actually be the operating the place.
Mm-hmm.
Behind the bar is a young blonde man who kind of looks up as you come in, and he's like, "Can I help you?"
Yeah, I just got into town. Can I grab a shot?
Sure. Have a seat.
Yeah, thanks.
So he goes and turns around behind the bar, takes a look at and brings up a couple of what you presume are the house specials. Sets them down. What's your pleasure?
Something hard and brown, ideally.
Rough day. He starts to pour half of one and then pours the rest from the other and just hands it over to you.
Yeah, thanks. It's quite the happening going on. What's going on?
First arrival festival? You must be new. Never
Yeah,
seen one before?
Nah, little place up north. First time in town.
Where at?
Little place called Redford.
Huh. It's pretty out there in the Edgewood.
You're telling me. Like, down the shot.
Okay. It is strong. It burns quite a bit. Leaves quite a smoky aftertaste.
That's something special you got there.
Yeah, that's been brewing for probably a decade or so.
Oh, it's longer than I've been here.
Well, it's not exactly mine. We kind of found it in the cellar when we took over the place.
Oh, that deserves another one. The glass.
He pours out a little more. Yeah, I'm just trying to get rid of it, to be honest.
Fair enough. Down the shot.
Okay. So what brings you all the way to Newfolk?
Life. Shit. Like, down the shot again. Yeah, rather not talk about that.
Fair enough.
Is there a quiet corner a guy could grab?
Place to sit?
Ah.
He kind of gestures with his cleaning rag to the fireplace that's off to the corner. It's a nice stone fireplace, and there's some chairs and rugs and such strewn about. Nobody's really taken up that spot because it's kind of the middle of the day.
Right.
And most folks are kind of in and out, grabbing lunch and a drink and then going back out to party.
Okay. I'm going to sort of wander over that way and sort of pull out one of the books and start flipping through it, kind of half paying attention to it, mostly keeping an ear on sort of the conversations that are going on around me, see if there's anything interesting that I'm picking up, or, just kind of doing the recon thing.
All right. Make a perception check for me. If you would.
I need dice for that.
You need dice.
Who would have thought? Okay. Not a great first roll. Perception. 17.
Okay. Nothing overly interesting. At least nothing pertaining to Wishmakers or anything of import to you.
Right.
A lot of just typical conversation and gossip and.
Right. I'm just also keeping half an ear out if there's any mention of a prince or royalty that have been passing through town, anything like that.
Sure. Oh my lord, where's my D20? No word of a prince. Your ears do perk up at one point where you think you hear the word prince, but as you carry on with the conversation, it's just a couple of women talking about something or other. Oh yeah, Aladdin, he's so handsome, he's just like a prince. And on they go.
Okay. Yeah, I'll sort of chill in the bar tavern for half hour, something like that. Just kind of see if there's anything interesting, anything that I'm noticing or hearing about happenings in the city that seem particularly fun or interesting to check out.
Most folks are kind of talking about, you do overhear a little bit of talk pertaining to that carnival that seems to be setting up outside.
Mm-hmm.
That sideshow. You kind of overhear a couple folks just kind of talking amongst themselves. Like, yeah, about time he came back around. It's been a good year and a half. Never know when he's going to show up. But wonder what he's got in that sideshow of his this time. Oh, I don't know. I never like seeing those things. It's always just a bunch of captured wild beasts and things. It's awful. Besides, do you remember that chimera or whatever it was that was in that show? Oh, I thought it was going to eat us. It's like, well, that old cat, it was ridiculous. It was just a fake.
All right, well, that sounds interesting. Having not really read any of the book, just sort of put it away and wander back up to the bar.
Okay.
Hey, don't suppose you guys sell bottles of wine, eh?
Not particularly. It's not our specialty hereabouts. You might, and I hate to say this, try the Laughing Maiden. High elf owner. She likes her wine. She makes it herself. She's very proud of it.
Am I sensing some animosity there?
Well, it's another tavern. I would really rather you eat here because that means my sister and I get to eat.
Fair enough. And how much would... how much do I owe you for the shots?
3.
I throw down 6.
Generous.
For the tip.
Sure.
Have a merry first festival.
Same to you. Hope your wishes come true.
Same to you.
Come back if you're hungry. We've got the best food in the place.
Duly noted. And I wander outside. Which way do I go?
You find your way to one of the maps that are posted on these wonderfully helpful wooden signs and just kind of look around. You gain your bearings. Did you want to go make your way immediately to that other tavern or?
Yeah.
Okay. So.
That place was called the Angry Ram, right?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I head over to the Laughing Maiden.
Okay. This place, for as quaint and down home as the Angry Ram was, it was very rustic and wooden, and everything felt a little homegrown. This place definitely looks like it was conceived of by an elf. It is. There is beautiful. Everything is festooned with golden decor and swirls and natural things. There's a little waterfall out in the front. It's fancy. And as you step inside, there is lovely harp music playing. It's much quieter than the other places. It's very pleasant and sweet and classy.
All right. Do I see anyone working?
There are a few people around. This one's not as populated, and you do kind of notice on stepping around. It's mostly elves and maybe half elves. A few humans that are probably trying to step it up a notch. They look a little better kept than some of the average peasantry you've seen wandering about. And they are indeed, doing some wine tasting and just chatting pleasantly and quietly amongst themselves. There's occasionally you do hear like peals of laughter as somebody said something probably really funny to their cohorts at the table. And moving from table to table, you do see a high elf with long silvery hair kind of almost floating the way she goes from table to table and engages them politely in conversation periodically, and then steps away, collecting glasses, refilling glasses, and just generally tending the area.
Okay. Just gonna sort of try and subtly get the attention of one
Sure.
of the.
Sure. She kind of, as she starts to make her way to a table that kind of puts you in her view, she comes up to her. Oh, hello. Welcome. You are new here. I've never seen your face before. What can I do for you, sir?
A friend of mine told me that you have the best wine in Newfolk.
Oh, how nice. You really must tell your friend. Thank you. That is true. We do indeed have the best wine in all of Newfolk. I would dare say all in all of Westrith.
Well, I am humbled to be in your company.
How very nice. My name is Illyria Veilstar. And you?
Sah'Shad.
Sah'Shad. My, what a classy name. Why don't you have a seat and I will bring out our latest array for the season. We have a special bottle just for the First Arrival Festival.
That would be fantastic.
Excellent. Please have a seat. I'll be right back. She goes to retrieve a tray of wines.
Sah'Shad's getting wasted. No.
Bar crawl. That's what you wanted to do all by yourself, huh?
Sure, let's go with that.
All right. A moment later, Illyria returns with a fancy silvery tray of wines that she sets down on the table. There are separate glasses matched to each bottle, and stylistically, they are also matched to the wine labels, which are all beautifully done and gilt with either silver or copper or gold, and just fine inked lettering. There's very much attention and care to the craft. So she opens one of them and starts to pour it out. It looks to be a dark wine, like a noir or something. And she extends it to you. So this is our Winter King's taste. It's one of the first winter wines we've ever made. It's quite bold and robust. A bit of a chill on the end of the tongue.
Sounds marvelous. Like, give it a little taste, not like a lot.
Sure. You do your thing. You taste the wine. It's got a little bit of that like frostiness afterwards, which is interesting for a wine. It's very earthy, but not bad. It's a dry kind of a wine.
Yes. This is amazing because I don't drink alcohol.
Yes, neither do I. We're experts in alcohol, describing the taste of alcohol.
Anyways, Sah'Shad kind of goes down the line and sort of tastes each one in turn.
So as she did with that one, she takes you through the tasting notes of each, and there's a variety from like red to white and so on and so forth. They're all quite nice.
Well, the rumors, it seems, are very true.
I've had time to practice, my dear.
Fair enough. May I purchase a bottle of the First Arrival?
Oh, of course. Let's see. She takes up that one. And that was a kind of a white wine. It was very, very sweet and had a lot of like kind of delicate flowery notes to it. And it was very tasty and a little bit bubbly almost.
Hey.
A little bit bubbly.
A little bit bubbly.
So she goes and she fetches another bottle of it, which the thing about this one, stylistically, it has one of those wishing papers tied about the neck of it on a red string, and it has the label written in that. with some clever, snappy little things about, your wishes come true in a bottle. Branding, it's a thing.
All about that marketing.
Yes. So she sets that on the table, and for a purchase of the first arrival by the bottle, that will be 400 gold.
400. Well,
it is a very rare crop, I'm afraid.
I do believe it's worth it.
My goodness, thank you so much. Would you like a bag or a carrying cask for it or anything to keep it safe?
That would be marvelous, actually. Yes.
Yes, it's a better idea to keep it covered up. You really don't want anyone trying to get a free sample.
Understandable.
So she gets kind of what looks like a big scroll case, or, one of those wine gift containers, and she slides the bottle into that. It's covered, it's unlabeled, it's just a case.
Right.
So she packages that up for you, takes the gold, and leaves you to it. Were you hungry, perchance? Anything I could get you to chase the wine with, a charcuterie tray or something of the sort?
I think I am fine. This is more than enough.
Of course. I'm sure you've more than had your share for the moment.
Indeed.
Well, thank you so much for your business, Mr. Sah'Shad. I hope we'll see you again.
Absolutely you shall, and I shall tell all of my friends of this place.
Thank you so much. The word of mouth is the best business I can get.
Absolutely. Well, I am glad to do my part.
Thank you so much, and happy first arrival to you, my dear.
You as well.
And she makes her way off to continue serving the tables, because there's a few people that are like, Valeria! And she's like, yes, coming. Hold on.
Okay, nice.
She flounces on her way.
She flounces. I love it. I step outside and sort of very carefully put it into the backpack that I've sort of, pulled from Redford when we left.
Yep. All right. So you have books. You have wine.
I have books and I have wine.
You need some cheese and you can have a picnic.
Don't get ahead of me now. Speaking of, when we were coming into town or on the map, is there any sort of hills or anything sort of overlooking the city that I can see?
Not really. The area surrounding Newfolk was honestly pretty flat. It was basically farmland. So it was you had the forest area of Edgewood that led into slightly hilly landscape that eventually just kind of made it into farmlands and plains. You don't get into hills until you start going further north, according to the maps you saw.
Right.
You really don't get into any hilly territory until you hit Keldrick's Folly, which is a name that kind of keeps sticking in your mind for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was definitely keeping an eye on that. Okay, I'm just going to sort of now wandering back outside towards the carnival. I'm going to actually go through the carnival and just kind of go a little bit into sort of whatever remnants of the Edgewood kind of sit right on the outskirts of the city. And just go a little bit in. There's
really not. By the Edgewood kind of ended about 4 days before you got to the city.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
It's like it was a week's journey to get to Newfolk from Redford.
Right.
You got out of the forest pretty quickly, and then it was just a path and flatlands for most of those days.
Okay.
So, there are little parks and things in the city that are purely manufactured and, curated and grown.
Right. So it's all just pure farmland pretty much outside the city?
Yep.
Okay. In that case, I'm just going to sort of wander around sort of the outskirts just to find like a nice sort of quiet area on the outskirts of the city. Just kind of
nice. What are you looking to do?
This will make sense in a moment. Along the way, I'm also just going to sort of grab some small-ish rocks about this big.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just kind of find just like a nice little like secluded corner of
You have to walk for a little while to get out of the city that's outside, that's even beyond the gates. It's cold. It's kind of snowy at this point because it did start snowing on your journey, or a few days into your journey. But you kind of find just a quiet little area where there's just a small copse of little trees that have been left intact, for scenery's sake. And the city's, probably a 2-minute walk away. And the road is not far off as well.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to sort of collect some of these rocks, and I build a little sort of rock pillar just kind of underneath one of the smaller trees, and sort of using some of the ink from the notepad that I have, I sort of sketch very roughly a butterfly symbol onto the topmost rock.
Okay.
And just sort of sit there thinking for a bit and sort of pull out the wine bottle. Though it's never quite what we planned, but I did always promise to take you somewhere special. Suppose another plane counts. Well, here's to another year, eh? And I kind of just cheers to the air, looking at the butterfly. She turned 14 last year. That's 4 years. How can it be that long? Will she even recognize me anymore? Well, here's hoping, eh? And I sort of druid craft a flower. It's very, very dark blue, almost black, and covered in white speckles, and it kind of almost looks like the night sky. And sort of take a look at it. They didn't sell any here, so hopefully a magic one will do. Like, put it down on the butterfly.
Okay. You set it down, and there's a little bit of snow kind of starting to sprinkle down. It's a very, very light dusting. It's easy to ignore as it kind of starts to drift onto the stones and onto the flower. No harm done. In fact, the flower seems to thrive just fine here, maybe because of the magic.
Well, soldier on, I suppose. I just sort of stand there for 15, 20 minutes, just kind of sipping on the wine bottle and thinking.
You spend your time in the distance. You can kind of hear the festivities and the shouts and the liveliness of the people a little ways away behind you, celebrating the first of the year according to their calendar, as far as you know. It feels there's a little bit of levity that comes with it, but it's definitely not quite home.
Well, Shaw, I promise it won't be as long till the next time I talk. And I kind of just put my paw onto the butterfly symbol. I'll find it. I have to. And I head back to town.
Okay. So you make your way back to town. leaving the stones and the flower there undisturbed, marked by those trees. And fairly soon, the sounds of the festivities start to kind of engulf around you again. People are shouting amongst themselves. All the different fairgoers there's dancing in the streets here and there. There's people shouting out, come, try your luck at the archery range. Best shot gets a free prize. And sundry other things. It's very lively, and everybody is quite happy.
Life carries on. Where's the temple in relation to the
somewhere in the city?
In the city?
If you want to go there, we'll go there. I don't give specific directions.
Fair enough. Sah'Shad's bouncing all over the place.
Oh man.
Well, I'm gonna go stop off at the pet shop.
Okay. Yeah, it's out here. So as you're walking through, you bypass some of the game stalls where people are trying their luck. You watch these poor citizens trying so hard to hit these archery targets, and just there's arrows that are flying over the back, and you can hear somebody shout, "Oi, watch it!"
I watch with amusement for a few minutes and just
then there's some little kids that are trying their darndest, and they have their parent kind of helping them try to aim, and it's still just into the ground, and nobody quite does too well. Although you do notice there is one target where it looks like somebody got a triple bullseye, and it looks like it's been left there for a while. But as you
know very well, or somebody else here is somebody to watch out for.
So as you pass by, you do find that the stall where all those animals were, and you can hear birds kind of singing. There's cats lazing around on every elevated surface they can possibly find. Lying there, kind of in the doorway of this menagerie tent, is this great big wolfhound, just sprawled out and snoring happily. And sitting on a chair just off to the side, kind of carving out something out of wood, is the lanky young man who looks like he probably is more comfortable out in the wilderness than he is in the city necessarily, but he's kind of just lazily, barely even paying attention to what he's doing, just kind of almost automatic in the way he's carving out this little figure out of the wood. Oh, hey, can I help you?
Are these all yours?
Well, I caught them or sold them, if that's what you're asking. You in the market for something?
I am, actually. Looking specifically for something that flies.
He looks back, and there's cages upon cages of any number of feathered creature you can find. As well, there are owls and falcons and such perched, separated and bound to their perches and such. Owls are dozing. The falcons are just kind of looking around, and there's plenty to see. And there's tons and tons of little colorful birds in cages, and something very odd that kind of catches your eye near the front are these little, you think they're finches until you actually realize that the back half is a little tiny cat-like body.
He kind of leans down and looks at them as well, you guys are very interesting.
And they seem very friendly. They come up to you and they start chirping and they're very intrigued by you. Oh, you're the second or third person today who's never seen a griffinch. You knew?
Yes, actually. These people, they wouldn't happen to be a short woman with scars. I'm totally blanking on how to explain Cork to people because brain.
You describe your party members.
My party members, yes.
He kind of thinks for a minute. Well, there was that shiny gold guy. bought a pseudo dragon.
Yep, that would be them.
And the woman you're talking about, she bought a pipe fox.
Just kind of like wanders off into the corner laughing.
Uh,
His inside joke is it'll be very funny later.
Okay. You from the moon tier? You don't dress like them.
No, sorry, this is something else. Anyways, do you mind if I take a look?
Yeah, go for it.
And I wander around and kind of take a look at all the different birds and
okay. He goes back to his carving and just lets you wander around. There's a few other people kind of roaming around in here. There's a little girl that's like pointing at one of the cats lazing around. It's like, Mommy, can I get the kitty? She's like, no, dear, we can't. We have a dog. He'll eat the kitty. And she's like, aw. And they kind of go on their way out. The daughter not particularly wanting to leave, but getting dragged by her mom out of the tent. There's any number of things. There's birds of prey. There's small, like ferrets and things like that. Small rodent type creatures. There's mice. There's rats.
Okay. I think I'm gonna specifically look at the owls.
Okay. There are owls of varying sizes. There's like a great horned owl. There's a snowy owl, and they're all kind of sleeping because it is the middle of the day, more or less.
Fair enough.
So they're not doing anything particularly exciting, but they are beautiful. And there is a small little like barn owl just kind of dozing there, and like one eye pops open as you walk up, and then the other eye pops open and it just kind of blinks at you. And then it kind of goes back to sleep.
Okay, I'm gonna look at the little guy and I'm gonna cast Speak with Animals on myself.
Okay.
And just kind of like lean down to the little guy and like, hello there.
What? Oh, hi. What? It's really late.
Yes, I apologize. My name is Sah'Shad.
Mm-hmm.
What's yours?
I don't have one yet.
Really? Well, that is a shame. Creature should have it.
Sah'Shad.
Sah'Shad, yes.
That's a weird name.
Well, how do you know? You don't have one.
It doesn't sound like Flittum.
Well, names come in all sorts of shapes and sizes.
Okay. His eyes start to close again.
Can I ask you a question?
One eye pops open. What?
Would you like to come with me?
Where are you going?
Well, anywhere and everywhere. See the world.
The owl just blinks and there's no response for a while. Okay.
Well, I think we should have a lot of fun together, don't you think?
You're going to give me a name?
We should have to think on this one. Name is not something to be given lightly. What would you like to be called?
It just kind of stares at you, very puzzled.
Well, we shall deal with that later.
Okay. I'm very fast when I fly. When I'm not, it kind of like leans down and sort of pecks at the bonds, keeping it to the perch. When I'm not stuck.
Well, we shall deal with that promptly.
Okay. Freedom says I'm 4 gold.
Freedom, is it?
Have you been talking to the little guy?
Yeah, the little one here says that he's 4 gold. Is that correct?
No. He's talking about Snowy. He's 2.
He's 2?
Yeah.
Well, I think I should take the little one.
Okay.
Like, Give him 2 gold.
All right. He's still a little young. He just got his grown-up feathers, so go easy on him.
We'll train him up right.
He comes over and detaches the bird from the perch and takes him up. All right, you. Stop trying to oversell yourself, please. It's embarrassing. And he hands it off to you.
Well, I like you already. I kind of like put him up on my shoulder.
Anything else? You want the other pseudo dragon? Match the one your friend got. They might kill each other.
We've had enough run-ins like that already. I don't think we need anything to accelerate the process.
That's fair. If you could find anybody that wants a green pseudo dragon, please send them my way.
Will do.
And you can see, like, this green pseudo dragon is just like, like having a fit next to this empty cage.
I'm gonna lean down and like, what's your problem?
His best frenemy got sold. He's bored.
Well, unfortunately, I can't help with that. But I can.
Nobody wants to help with that, and I don't blame them.
Fair enough. Well, I shall wish you luck.
Someone will get drunk enough to buy him by the end of the festival, I'm pretty sure. That's why he's sitting out front.
Good plan. I kind of like give him a wink and head out into the festival again.
He just kind of gives you a salute on the way out and goes back to carving away.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I guess I'll sort of head back into the city. About this point, I'm assuming Cork's message probably.
Yeah.
Got okay. What did she say again? Did she tell us where we were staying?
I don't remember.
No. I don't think she's in the chat either.
No.
All right. Well, yeah, I'll just let her know. Yes, I have one more thing to take care of, and then I'll meet you guys.
Okay. So you send your message back while our lore master double checks things for us. And your last stop?
The temple.
Okay. So the temple.
Sorry, the tree was in the courtyard on the way to the temple.
Mm-hmm. It's
okay.
in the tree is in the centralmost, the biggest square in the city, and the temple is on one end of that square.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna stop at the tree on the way to the temple.
So you make your way, and the tree is every bit as impressive this second passing as it was the first time you saw it. People are coming and going, taking their wish papers and hanging them up on the tree, talking amongst themselves. It's very much just a tradition that people are enjoying partaking in, and the end result is a very beautifully colored tree.
Is there like specifically a place that people are getting the papers and string from?
Some people appear to have brought their own that maybe they made, but there are tables set aside that appear to be run by the people in robes similar to the overseers, so people of the temple, that have blank papers and things for people to write things out with and whatnot. And they're not charging for them; they are free for taking. Right.
I'm gonna grab one and write my wish on it and hang it up.
Okay, so you write your wish and you go hang it up. Make a perception check for me, if you would, please.
Ooh, intriguing. That's my metal dice. 9 plus 7, 16.
Okay. Yeah, out of the corner of your eye, you think you see Ashenlock walking away from that tree, leaving the square.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I just kind of note that for later. And I don't see the others?
Nope.
Okay. Well.
At a brisk pace, no less.
Well, we are all keepers of our own secrets. I finished tying it up and head into the temple.
And because obviously this tree is huge, there are ladders and things and stair steps that are created, scaffolds and whatnot for people to be able to climb up into the boughs and hang these things up, as well as like sticks basically that will allow them to like put their wish on the end and hang it up if they're not up for dealing with heights. Right. Different ways people can actually reach higher than like ground level.
Cool. I'm gonna sort of try to keep it towards the like centermost of the tree to like keep it protected, since the whole idea of surviving the year.
Sure. Okay. So you find a place that looks like it will be well shielded from the elements, thanks to the tree's boughs and branches, and kind of tuck your wish paper under there.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You're busy later? For the recap, Cork had sent a message saying they were going to be wandering the fair. No specific message was stated, beyond teasing Cora by saying Sah'Shad was asking if she was busy later, which was probably a lie. But anyway.
Yep, Cork was just having fun at my
expense. Cork was having you on.
All
right, Kitty, what would you like to do?
So once in the temple, I sort of see if I can find anyone that looks like they know their way around, because I recognize this as sort of a communal religious space, because the city back home has very similar things as, sort of communal spaces of all religions being welcome.
Yeah, exactly. This is very much and it is notably outside of the little shrines that are contained in their own hallways and alcoves, it is notably devoid of religious iconography. It is a hall where all of these are welcome, and in the communal areas, no one symbol is expressed more than another. So everything is given as equal treatment as possible, and there's nothing is forced upon the people here. So you do have to kind of walk the halls if you were seeking out a specific shrine or a specific god. You kind of have to look and see what is etched into.
Right. Do I see any of the like clerics or whatever they were, like sort of wandering around?
The keepers here? Yeah. There's there's a couple of them still here and there, just kind of milling about and like cleaning the place up. And there's one that's, checking things in the record books and just making some notes there at the back. A young woman that's wearing the garb, much like the people you saw outside handing out the wish papers. And there's a couple folks at the very back that are actually sitting there making more of them, which looks probably not the most fun, but they seem to be having a good time of it, just chatting with each other as they kind of make them. They're very practiced at this, and it takes them like seconds to just create these and tie them up and get them put into bushels to take outside.
Excuse me, miss.
Oh, yes?
I don't suppose you could help me. I pull out the necklace that has like all the different religious symbols on it. And I kind of like flip through to one that looks sort of older than the rest of them and a little more tarnished and like it's been handled a lot more. It's the same butterfly symbol that I put on the rock. It's a shell. And I don't suppose you have a shrine already for, though I don't know what you would call her here, but we call her Desna.
Desna? It doesn't sound familiar to me, but to be honest, I'm kind of new here. That symbol, though, I think she kind of looks around and then gestures down the hall. There's an alcove that there's light pouring out from it that's multicolored. It looks like maybe it's coming from stained glass or some decoration within that may be catching the light and kind of throwing it out into the hall in different colors. I think that's the one you want to go to. One of those along that way. There are goddesses of arts and beauty and change, things like that out that way. I'm not particularly familiar with them, to be quite honest. They usually have me guarding the more morose deities and their keepings.
Fair enough. Well, thank you. I shall investigate.
Yeah, of course. Let me know if you need anything else. Happy first arrival.
Same to you. And I wander down that hallway looking for her shrine.
Okay. So you make your way down there, and you do indeed find this alcove that the entire inside of this is actually, it was not just stained glass. The whole walls are actually made of a very colorful mosaic that just is like throwing light upon itself from the skylight that's coming down into the altar. And it's beautiful. It's almost blinding when you very first walk in after the sort of dim, diffused light of the halls. But when you walk into this, you are just bombarded by color and brilliance. And it takes a moment for your eyes to kind of adjust. But once you do, it's gorgeous.
Well, I sort of awkwardly move into sort of the center of the room and sort of get down on my knees and sort of look at the symbol, sort of close my eyes. Well, it's been a long time since I've done this. Look, I know me and the gods, we've never exactly seen eye to eye, but Sah'Shad liked you. Kashal liked you. Sibos liked you. So I'm here to ask your help. I have no direction right now, but forward. And I don't know which direction that is. I could use your help now more than ever. This place is not what I was expecting. It's so much more, and I am lost. It's funny, they call it a labyrinth. This is not what I was expecting. I just need something from you, a sign, anything, that you can hear me, you're listening, that you're there. I just need something.
And as you sit, these areas, these alcoves are quiet. The hall is designed in such a way that the noise and the din from outside doesn't really filter in here very easily. There is kind of a sense of peace in the brightness and the brilliance that you're sitting there. You don't really get any kind of an answer, but sitting there with the colors kind of dancing around you, it's calming in its way. It allows you to kind of just focus or drift as you please.
Well, I'll take that as a no then. And I stand up and sort of give one last look around the room and leave.
Okay. The hall or just the alcove?
I walk out of the back into the main area.
Okay. So you walk on out, and the keepers of the halls are still going about their business, and nobody's particularly paying attention to who or what goes in and out of these shrines. They give parishioners their privacy, clearly.
Can I see the same girl that I talked to before?
Yeah, she's still there. She's just kind of paging through the tome and checking off some things here and there. Occasionally looking back to talk to the others that are there making the wish papers.
Excuse me, again, miss.
Yes.
I don't suppose you would know if there's any, purveyors of magic items in the city.
You mean you haven't met Lucra yet? Oh my goodness.
I cannot say I've had the pleasure.
Can't miss her. Tiefling. Larger than life, we'll say. She dresses brighter than that room you were in.
All right. Well, good to know. I look forward to it.
She's probably hawking at the festival right now, but she's open at all hours, so you can probably catch her inside her shop tonight after sunfall.
Good to know. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And you will definitely not be able to forget her once you've met her.
I've met a few tieflings in my time. They are...
She's a character.
They never fail to disappoint.
No, she's fun.
Well, thank you. And again, happy first festival.
Of course. Take care.
You as well. And I wander back out into the city and sort of windingly make my way back to the group. Okay.
So, as you are making your way through the streets, something kind of does catch your attention. You see a small child, you think at first, cloaked in a ragged kind of hood and cloak, sort of making his way at a surprisingly brisk pace through the crowd, just kind of darting away. What is odd about that is it appears that he's either got a mask of some kind on his face or his eyes are covered. And he kind of ducks away through the crowd, and then you do see the others kind of making their way at a sedate pace toward the inn. But he kind of seemed to emerge into the town ahead of them.
Okay. I'm going to just try to follow him a little bit, just because that was a little suspicious.
Okay. He's not particularly difficult to keep track of because he kind of slows his pace once he finds a small corner between some of the stalls in this square around the tree. And he just kind of lays out a blanket and hunkers down and sets out a small bowl and just sort of settles there, appearing to wait for alms.
Okay. Can I sort of watch him? Does it look like he, I don't know how I would do this, but like, does it look like he pickpocketed anything from the rest of my group? Like, is there anything?
Not that you can tell.
Odd about him that way?
The only thing that's kind of unusual, given he's dressed pretty raggedly, is he does appear to have a leather bracelet that has kind of some gem-like baubles on it that almost looks way, way too big for him. Like it would fall right off of his hand if he didn't hold it just the right way. But it doesn't look like anything you've seen Arza or Zelos or Cork or any of the others wear.
Right. Guess just shake my head. I was imagining things. And sort of turn around and head back to the main group.
So you make your way after your time in town and head back to rejoin the others and Cora at Cora's Inn that she's chosen, the Green Dragon. You do almost immediately on entering learn why it is given that name, because the proprietor behind that counter is a very, very large and imposing and scarred as fuck looking green dragonborn.
Ace.
Who greets you politely. He's still terrifying to look at. Seems like a nice guy. And that is where we will end, and you will all pick up at the inn tomorrow night.
Yeah.
At our usual time.
All right.
So, thanks for hanging, everybody.
Uh-huh.
We will do it again tomorrow with the full crew.
Indeed.
Feels and like perhaps more of these cute little one-on-ones if people want them.
I'm still considering running the one shot in Sah'Shad's homeworld because bandied around. And
Yes.
who doesn't love some good old steampunky?
Give me the
shenanigans.
steampunk.
I
need it.
Yeah. I have never DM'd before, so that is terrifying. But
that's okay. If you DM like me, you don't need to math ever because you just fudge everything always.
Our DM, ladies and gentlemen.
Now with 100% more fudge.
All right. Well, that was Sah'Shad's emotional adventures in the city.
Sah'Shad's emotional book shopping and wine buying.
Yeah.
And grieving and praying.
He's a very broken kitty.
It was like Sah'Shad does eat, pray, love. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Hey, rituals.
You bought the cookbook, didn't you?
I did.
Oh, man.
He's going to have so much fun with that.
Make up recipes, please.
Oh, yeah. And he's got a pet now. He's got a little owl.
Oh, a little owl with no name.
Little owl with no name.
Tweet us name ideas.
You said he was a little barn owl, right?
Yeah, the little baby barn owl. Who is very sleepy. But it was like the middle of the day, so of course he is.
Yep.
You guys have so many pets now.
I know, it's crazy, right? We are the pet party.
Shit.
Also, like, I'm so looking forward to that book for Alice.
Oh.
I'll let them fight it out.
Oh, man. Oh, man. It's great. It's great. I don't know whose we got here in the chat, but we can do a little Q&A if anybody wants to ask us things.
Indeed.
Also, hi, chat. Thanks for hanging.
Lol.
You guys are lovely. So yeah, at pets we have Arza has a pseudo dragon. Sah'Shad has a little baby barn owl.
Well,
Cork has a kitten, which I think she's giving to Alice, and a pipe fox because
pipe fox for herself.
Because pipe fox. Yeah. Dang. It's a lot of small animals.
Really is.
Wowza. Well, all right.
I just realized I forgot. I was gonna get some mice or meat or something for a little barn owl fellow.
Oh, that's okay. We'll assume you did. We can say that happened. I have the power of the gods of Rithia, so whoever they are.
They're all of them, apparently.
Yes. The House of the Distant Divines is what that place was called.
Yeah.
All right. Well then. Thanks, guys. We will continue town adventures tomorrow night.
Indeed.
I haven't written it yet, so I have no idea what's going to happen. That's not entirely
show up, and
that's not entirely true. I kind of know things that are going to happen. I just need to write them out in words. Yep. Okay. Thank you. Happy first arrival.
Yeah.
Goodbye. We'll see you tomorrow.